What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great weekend. We are here with a quick review of the Conjuring Last Rites. I believe this should be basically the final entry um, in the Conjuring franchise. At least I'm pretty sure. Actually, let me double check. I don't think there was like any post credit scene or anything like that. Uh, I just want to make sure. But I'm pretty sure this is because this movie is supposed to basically mimic the final entry, like the final case that Ed and Lorraine Warren did in reality. So I definitely think we're not. Let's see. They got a 56 on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't really care about Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. Yeah, so this definitely seems to basically be the end of the franchise for The Conjuring, which had four main movies. I think three Annabelle movies, two Nun movies, and then The Curse of La Llorona. So pretty underrated franchise. The spin-offs of these films, some have really not been that great compared to the main four entries following Ed and Lorraine. But some of them I enjoy and I would watch again for sure. Um, I'm not gonna go too deep dive into it, but I'm just gonna give my overall thoughts. Uh, this is definitely a movie that I have been very excited for when I first learned that it was coming. It was about time. I think the last one. When was when did The Conjuring 3 come out? That release. Oh wow, that released 4 years ago. The Conjuring 3 came out 4 years ago. I'm surprised it went so long was before we got another one. Now again, it could be because people are busy with other projects and stuff like that. Very much understandable. But basically, this movie is just a the final chapter in the franchise. Ed and Lorraine Warren have to confront. Basically, it sounds like it was this was their first case that they dealt with. At least that's my understanding of how they talked about it in the movie. This was their first case, but they had a very traumatic experience. Ed and Lorraine talk about how they were young when this happened, um, and the movie was something the movie that is I'm not clear about when it comes to the movie. Maybe it's something I missed, but in the movie, Judy is a crucial part of the movie, but I'm not sure why she is in like because in the movie, um, the demon or whatever this entity is from way back when Ed and Lorraine were young and just starting out, but it basically has been waiting for Judy all this time. It's not clear why that is. So again, maybe I missed something. To just maybe try to find something on YouTube who could explain it a little bit better. But I don't think I understood why that is. One of the things about these movies, particularly with the four Conjuring movies, is how they typically like the best part about this movie for me is I was in a movie theater which was pretty much almost full to capacity. A lot of people were there. This was like a late night. This was like a 9:30 showing that I went to, and pretty packed for the good part of the movie. Um, it was the reason it was a fun experience is because there were people literally screaming in the movie, like they were like very much being scared in the movie theater, and so that was like a real treat right there for that because like it's been a while since I've been in a movie theater where like it's that kind of experience. Now, obviously, you have like Avengers: Infinity War, Endgame, um, No Way Home, certain movies that like get a general audience response like this. But the thing about these movies that I have really enjoyed throughout their run is how well they handle some of the horror aspects. Um, the visuals of it is very creepy. One prime example is is the Conjuring 2, where you have the dog and the little boy and the dog starts transforming into the crooked man, and it's been like pretty good examples of that. I think there was one in the Conjuring 3 where Ed and Lorraine get separated and they're kind of like distance, and you see you're with Ed when this happens, and you look in the distance, it looks like Lorraine. As she come, it turns to be basically the villain of the movie. Uh, so these movies have done relatively well, but being creative with their horror, and just how they handled it. Um, you know, I'm trying to think of what it was. So there was a really gruesome part, not gruesome, like, but so there was a part where one of the girls uh, basically basically throws up blood. It was like glass, um, with glass in it. It is one of those things because Ed talks about it a lot during these movies. Is where people will be like, "Well, why don't you just destroy these things?" And he's like, "Sometimes it's best to keep the genie in the bottle. Sometimes you can't destroy them. Sometimes they won't allow themselves to be destroyed. There's always like there's some reason." The craziest thing of it was, is like, we watched these two girls in the movie take the mirror and throw it out, and and then we see it get picked up by the trash, gets crushed, and that's when we get the scene of where one of the girls is basically coughing up blood and has glass um in her mouth. And so we're like, oh, okay. And so in my mind, when that happened, I was like, okay, did they basically like basically release what was ever inside this mirror, or what was that about? And then they proceed to get haunted, and it looks like this has been going on for months. This has been going on for months, that this family has continuously, night after night, they've been haunted. Each one has had their own haunting experience. You had I believe the mother in the basement. She kind of like is doing laundry in the basement, and I think the lights go out, if I remember correctly. And the way she turns, and you're kind of following her, and the way the camera moves, you could clearly see somebody is right there. And then she flicks on the light, nobody's there except for just like a painting. It's wild. And then you have the dad who goes and um, he like he I guess he just came home from work or something, sitting on his bed, getting ready to go to bed. His door creeps open, and I think you see it in the trailer. At least I'm pretty sure. But like he drops his glasses, and like kind of with the camera bends down and then leans over. There's like one of the ghosts or whatever right there at the edge of the bed, and so they've been really really good with like just stuff like that, and I've really enjoyed it. The story is pretty straightforward. The Warrens have basically, for the most part, retired from their paranormal investigation. They're doing this lecture in I guess in a college hall. Whereas we saw in previous episodes, particularly I think was maybe um, the first one, where their hall, it was like filled with students, filled with people who were wanting to ask questions about their cases and stuff like that. By the point in this movie, at least in this timeline, a lot of people don't are not that interested in it. You have some guys are acting like, oh, so you guys aren't like Ghostbusters or anything like that. And so um, it seems like the paranormal of stuff, it has started to kind of like not be as, I don't want to say interesting, but it's just less and less people are, you know, are into it. And so um really loved that we got people back to who have appeared pretty much in the main four. You had Drew, who was basically like the camera guy who kind of helped them out, and then you had, I forgot his name, but the cop who had his like face bit in the first one. He came back. I believe you I think you had some other ones too. I'm trying to remember who. Let me see. I have to try to bring them pull this back up real quick. Um because it's really cool. Because I was like noticing a lot of them. I was like, oh wait, you were in. So you had like, I think the mom. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, yeah. You had Lily Taylor come back as the mom from the first movie. You had you had Janet. Was she? You had Janet Hodgson, but I can't remember if she was the. I think she was. I think she was also the mom. I don't think she was. I don't think she was like one of the kids. I could be wrong. And then you had who was the other one? David Gatzel. Is that right? I think he was the cop. For and I see the no. It says he was in The Devil Made Me Do It. I don't remember. I don't remember him. I don't remember him. I'll have to go back and look at the movies. I don't remember their names. But um, yeah. So it was also pretty sad. You had Father Father Gibson, I think it was. He came back as well. Crazy sequence with him in that movie. Um, I never really felt scared because like the thing about horror movies nowadays is that they don't really scare that much anymore. Like you could like this movie. I mean, you could probably like tell when something is about to happen, and that's fine with me though. I'm not really like upset about that. Annabelle again. Annabelle has been maybe except for the third one. I don't remember her in the third one, but pretty much Annabelle has been prominent throughout this franchise as well. She has like it's like a weird moment with her where one Judy is having like basically the same I believe the same stuff that Lorraine has, like the clairvoyance and stuff like that. And there's like a scene where she's in her old bedroom and like Annabelle is like there watching, and then later on, when they're in Pennsylvania, it's Annabelle again, but she like transforms into this giant doll. It was so interesting. I thought they were going to do more with that, but Annabelle has definitely been prominent throughout this franchise as well. Um, but I mean, overall, I really like the movie. You can say I'm biased about it because I really like them. I like all four of these. The spinoffs are okay. I definitely recommend going to see it. I think it is a very fun movie to just go and enjoy if you're a fan of these movies. I definitely would give it maybe a 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10. Um not probably that, like, if when I go back and rewatch it, there'll probably be stuff that I will point out. I'm like, okay, this didn't make sense to me, or that didn't make sense to me. So that will probably like affect it overall. But I think as of right now, freshly just getting out of the theater and watching it, I definitely would say it's probably about like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 for me. But really, really enjoyed it. I love these movies, and so this is the final entry, and so they do get a happy ending. So I'm very happy about that. But guys, that is relatively it. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment below. Other than that, I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a good one.